Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to the Pork and Bean Show, starring Pork Cunningham and the world's handsomest man, Frank Oliver Lane. Sit back, relax, and stay a while as we stretch your imagination to places unknown and explore the mysterious world of the Sasquatch people and much more.
They say I need some Rogaine to put in my hair. Work it out at the gym to fit my underwear. Oakley makes the shades to transform a tool. You'd hate for the kids to think that you lost your cool. I'ma do the things that I wanna do. I ain't got a thing to prove to you. I'll eat my candy with the pork and beans. Excuse my manners if I make a scene. I ain't gonna wear the clothes that you like. I'm fine and dandy with the meat inside. One look in the mirror and I'll take a peek. I don't give a hoot about what you think. Everyone likes to dance to a happy song with a catchy chorus and beat so they can sing along. Timberland knows the way to reach the top of the chart. Maybe if I work with him, I can perfect the art. I'ma do the things that I wanna do. I ain't got a thing to prove to you. I'll eat my candy with the pork and beans. Excuse my manners if I make a scene. I ain't gonna wear the clothes that you like. I'm fine and dandy with the meat inside. One look in the mirror and I'll take a peek. I don't give a hoot about what you think.
So what's wrong with you? Well, you got bad teeth.
Huh?
You got bad teeth.
Yeah, bad teeth.
Let's see. Oh. Oh, yeah. Mine aren't that good either. Well, the ones I got are okay,
Got a new cavity.
but I'm missing a few. And what's wrong with the prostrate?
I got the pee at night thing where you got to get up and go pee all the time.
Oh. Oh, yeah. Oh, well, I guess that comes with the territory of being, what, 72 or something?
Gonna be 73 in April. April.
April.
April. April.
Yeah. Well, you got mad. So you got mad at those comments? You get pissed off?
I didn't. No, no, I didn't. I didn't see the actual original post. All I saw was the post production,
Oh,
which was a bunch of. That's when everybody was commenting on. Well, somebody took it down. Did Kevin take it down or something?
no. I took it down because I asked Kevin, should I take it down? You know, because it was like people were like coming out of the woodwork, these trolls, and we were starting to get those people they have in other groups like, it's a hoax. It's it's Photoshop. You're full of shit, all that kind of stuff. So I said, well, do you want me to take it down? I just woke up the next morning and I saw there was a firestorm, and he left me a big explanation of it. And so he said, yeah, take it down. And then when I took it down, then he said, well, I wanted to reply to these guys, but I said, no, you don't reply to these guys with the same kind of animosity and low vibe stuff that they do. Just ignore them. So anyway, then after I took it down, I just wrote that post about we're not going to tolerate that in the group.
I have a shiny spot.
Oh, you got leprosy too on your hand.
I have. Yeah, that's old people stuff.
It looks like leprosy.
Yeah, they call them liver spots. I don't think it has anything to do with the liver. But I have light coming out of my hot head right here. I'm projecting light out.
Oh, yeah, well, that's kind of high.
Huh?
That's the kind of.
You would think it would. Maybe it just maybe my third eye just shifted over.
Look, I've got laser vision in my glasses.
You've got television in your glasses.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Yeah, so this should be a good show. I'm looking forward to this guy.
Yeah, when's the last time you talked to him? Because he's a busy guy. Maybe he forgot. I just sent him another thing. I
just talked to him 15 minutes ago.
Oh, okay, so he's going to be fashionably late.
But yeah, the cool people are never early.
Yeah, but actually, this guy's pretty much on the ball. It took me. I watched a lot of his videos, and then I realized that this guy has really got some smarts. And
you hear noise in the background? Can you hear noise in my background?
No.
Oh, okay, that's good then. That's good because my wife's clanking around.
Cryptid encounters.
If it's not picking up, that's it. That's awesome. Forbidden
news.
Forbidden knowledge news. Yeah, we'll start off with asking him how did you get to how did the evolution how did you evolve from whatever, how did you start the Forbidden Knowledge News show, and what brought you to that, wanting to start it and something like that? We'll get him talking on that. Oh, there he is.
Oh, I don't see him yet.
I see him.
Oh, Forbidden Knowledge News. See, he's got it, but I've got Michael Harrell, aka Mr. Beans.
Oh, I better change my name. Hey, how you doing, buddy?
Hey, how you doing? Can you hear me?
Yeah.
You sound like a top 40. I mean, yeah.
Top 40 DJ.
You sound like one of those classic rock guys. Hey.
Well, at least you can hear me. Awesome. Thanks for having me on, guys.
Yeah, I think it's going to be fun. I don't know what we're going to talk about.
We'll talk about anything.
We're going to sprinkle a little, like every 15 minutes, we got to say Sabe or Sasquatch, and then keep on talking about whatever we were talking about.
I'm sure you've heard a lot of. I mean, we don't.
Oh, I'm down for Sasquatch too. Whatever you want to go, man.
We don't have to. We don't have to restrict it to any one subject. But I like mixing it up. But have you had any actual Sasquatch experiences?
No, but I've had contact experiences with what I currently understand as spirit guides. I could talk about that a bit, and
oh yeah, sure.
Things that led up to and everything.
And you'd have awakenings. You have awakening stuff, and you've had spiritually transformative diseases. They used to talk about sexually transmitted disease, but this is a spiritually transformative. It's almost the same, though.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I've had all those. Definitely. Hold on, let me close this. My dog just broke in.
Yeah, we're not going live yet, so we're cool. We're not gonna take it.
All right.
So can we ask you, I mean, I know you probably don't want to share names of guests you've had because you kind of have to have permission, but can you relate some stories without the name, some of the stuff you've heard and stuff?
Yeah, and I'm sure there's if I can mention the guest's name, I certainly will for sure.
Okay, but yeah, it's not necessary, but okay, cool.
Yeah, wherever you want to go.
I heard that
How long do you got?
About an hour.
An hour?
Hour and 30 minutes at the most. Well, no, actually, probably about an hour. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, that's fine.
Yeah.
It'll be a short one. We usually go 2 or 3 hours, but
we're
not.
Oh, yeah. No, I didn't realize. Yeah, I only have I can go a little over an hour, but yeah.
90 minutes maybe.
Let's see.
That's an hour and a half.
Yeah, that should be fine. That should be fine.
Okay. You just tell us when you're getting, like, when you kind of a few minutes before you have to go, kind of thing, and we'll wrap it up.
Well, yeah, I'm not. It's going to be around 11. I'm sorry, in about an hour. So let's try and keep it 90 minutes if possible. I mean, 60 minutes if possible. Yeah.
Okay. Well, let's get started then.
Okay.
Hold on a second. I'm just gonna.
We're not gonna take it. We're not gonna take it.
Yeah, we don't get serious like you do on your show.
Pork and beans in the can, pork and beans in the pan. Man, we love pork and beans. Take away your chitlins, take away your greens, 'cause mama's little babies love pork and beans.
Is your name Chris Mathieu?
Matthew. It's
Matthew.
French pronunciation.
Oh, that's a different kind of way of spelling it.
Yeah. It's a French spelling and pronunciation's weird. It's supposed to be.
I would have said Mathieu.
You're a living success story of the awakened generation.
Right on. Well, I try, I just do what makes me happy.
Well, you're in the. I think you posted somewhere that you're in the top 50 of all the podcasters in the entire known thought sphere.
And no, top 50 in my category, which is news commentaries.
News commentary.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah, I'm beating all the Fox News and all that, so that's good.
You are?
Yeah.
Wow, neat, man.
Yeah.
That's cool.
How many are in your category? Maybe 800 or something, 500?
Thousands and thousands.
All the people who talk about news, right? But you're not. I've never really seen a whole lot of your shows that are actually talking about news. You're just sort of talking about topics.
Yeah, there's no really category in the podcast realm that would best describe our show, so that's what we chose.
Hey guys, I'm going to go live, so let's hush up for a second, and then I'll give the intro. Okay?
Hush up. So you want me to sing?
No.
No. Are you some kind of a killjoy or something?
Absolutely. Well, we don't have a lot of time with our guest today, so we have to get down to business. We can do the monkey business. We can do the monkey business on the next show.
Okay.
Hey everybody, my name is Port Cunningham, and I'm here with my distinguished co-host, the world's handsomest man, Frank Oliver Beans. Hey, Mr. Beans.
Hello, family, friends, Sasquatch people, and the Sasquatch people who are showing up, and yeah, all that stuff.
And we're here today with our friend. We've been on his show, Forbidden
Mathieu, the famous.
And we're joined by Chris Mathieu.
Yeah.
Chris Mathieu. Sorry. And
Forbidden Knowledge News, everybody. That's the news. It's Forbidden Knowledge News, and he's in the top 50 of 1,000 news shows. How about that? In the
Yeah.
world,
Somewhere around there. I don't know.
it was
Yeah.
49 last time I saw.
Yeah.
So let's start off. How did you get from little Chris Mathieu to Forbidden Knowledge News? What was the evolution there?
That was a very surreal evolution. And thanks again for having me on. I really appreciate that. So it started for me, I'd say in around 2013 or 14. I had just gone through a divorce and I was kind of lost in my search for answers spiritually. And I was doing a job. I had a corporate job doing cellular and entertainment television sales and like cable services and things like that. And I was making good money. I was content with my financial situation, but I was miserable in my life overall. And I hated the job that I was doing. It required a lot of, I guess you could say, not so nice type of behaviors at times. You have to get a little backstabby, and if you ever want to get any further in the company, that's definitely in the cards. You have to be a shark to climb the top, and that just wasn't me, and I hated even being in that environment. And it was kind of depressing having to wake up and go do that every day, knowing that there was something else that I would really rather be doing. But at that time 2013, 2014, I had no idea. And it was about 2015 when things just finally came to a head. I'm sitting there at my job one day and I'm actually so bored. I'm actually watching YouTube videos and I start coming across these, for whatever reason, YouTube keeps showing me these strange conspiracy videos, aliens, UFOs, nature of reality, paranormal, and I just got sucked into it. And I just started doing my own research. I started seeking out books from some amazing authors and researchers that I respected, and I started researching them and doing just looking into everything, the nature of the reality, how everything works, conspiracies, parapolitics, anything that I found that I wasn't being told about in the mainstream, I started to dive into deeply. And not only that, I wanted to share what I was learning. I mean, it was some very interesting things, and it was things that I thought other people should know about. But little did I know, back then people didn't really want to know about it, and you can't go around yelling at the top of your lungs about some of these crazy things that are happening because most people just aren't ready to hear it or they don't want to hear
I
it.
tried it, didn't work.
Yeah, tried it for a little while and I was like, all right, let me do something different. So I started just blogging on Facebook. This whole thing started as a Facebook blog. I just wrote about things I found interesting. For some reason, people found that interesting and a few started listening and it grew and grew. And I said, man, I got to start talking to people that know more about this stuff than me, some individuals who've done deeper research. So that's when I started reaching out to some of those authors and researchers and people that were doing this work, that were diving deep into these topics that I had started looking into, people that I deeply respected. And I was shocked to find out that most of them were just happy to come on and talk with me. And so I started a YouTube channel where I started doing interviews. Started interviewing some of my favorite people in those realms, and it eventually grew. That picked up a lot of popularity, and someone suggested I turn it to an audio podcast, which eventually I did. I partnered with my producer, Corey, and we started doing podcasting. And eventually, it's a very long story what kind of led to it, but eventually I had a profound contact experience with what I now understand as my spirit guides that led me to ultimately be able to quit that job that I hated. And it was very strange how that happened because at the time I wasn't making really any money from doing this podcast or anything. It just kind of led me to that. So I had my experience. I was able to quit my job, and then I moved to somewhere that I knew would make me happier. I've lived in South Louisiana most of my life, and it just wasn't for me. So I just decided to move to near the mountains in Colorado, and that's where I am now. The show has become extremely successful, more than I could have ever imagined. It's a surreal experience, and I'm extremely grateful for everything that has happened. And I believe it's because I followed the advice of my guides and where these beings and these entities were telling me to go. And guiding me to take care of. And I followed those instructions, took care of some childhood traumas, got rid of some emotional things that I had blocking me. And here I am today talking with Pork and Beans.
Pork and Beans is the peak.
That's it. The peak right here.
The peak, right? At least for Saturday, January 7th, it's the peak. You might have something later on though in the afternoon. It tops it.
Nah, just some leisurely family and friend stuff.
Well, that's cool because there's a big shift going on in the world, and and I'm kind of feel like I'm connected to it, and the rock people and the Sasquatch people and the ET people and everything's kind of all working together. The past life people and the near death people and all this stuff is coming out, which is really rich. Like they've already proven beyond a shadow of a doubt that reincarnation is real and ESP is real, and that we're immortal beings. And that it's not this external technology is nothing compared to the consciousness technology, and we're starting to awaken to this consciousness technology, and they're all working together. It's like this whole very positive stuff's going on here. I feel.
Oh yeah, I agree. I mean, I think I have hope that I've seen myself a lot of family and friends and individuals that I've not even been close to seeking some of this spiritual knowledge and trying to make their own lives better and not participating in some of these dystopian agendas that are in the mainstream right now. So that's very encouraging.
So let's go into. I'm intrigued. Can you go into detail about your awakening or when
Sure.
your experience with your guides or whatever? And by the way, what was you said backstabbing and whatever in your career? What were you, an evangelist or a used car salesman?
It was closer to used car salesman because I sold cell phone technology, cell phone plans, cell phones, TV and internet services for a large company that I'm not going to mention because they're just evil and I'd rather not them coming out of my mouth anymore. But yeah, so my experience, it was only about 3 years ago that this happened to me. I had already started doing Forbidden Knowledge News. It was already a podcast, but I was still working for this company that I didn't like, and Forbidden Knowledge News wasn't bringing home any, income. So I had to do this, but I just knew I was miserable, and I knew that this talk show was becoming my passion, that doing these interviews and seeking this truth is something that I felt I needed to do, is calling me. So I had also, during this time period, I was breaking up with an individual who may not have been the best in the best mental state, because I did have to get a restraining order against this young lady because, things happen. So This was another difficult period of my life where I knew where I wanted to go. I just couldn't get there. And it was going through a bad breakup. And I knew I needed to just do something to shift my direction where I was going. And meditation just kept popping in my mind. Go meditate. You got to do something. You're not going to get anywhere from these external things. Maybe go look within. Maybe you'll get somewhere. So I did. I tried meditating, and there had been plenty of experiences up until that point where I just couldn't do it. My mind I didn't let myself do it. My mind wouldn't slow down enough, and I couldn't relax enough, or whatever excuses I made. Then one night I was able to go into a deep meditative state. I had even put on some 432 hertz tones, and I was easily able to access this meditative state this time. And it was different than anything that I'd ever experienced. I was more relaxed than ever, and I had gotten to this state of it was beautiful darkness. There was nothingness, and I didn't feel any anxiety. And I knew I had reached a state that I didn't reach before. And, my whole body's kind of vibrating and tingling. And all of a sudden I could feel like my consciousness is the only thing I could say is traveling, and also at the same time absorbing multitudes of information that I didn't understand, what most people consider a download. And this information was coming so rapidly. I believe that I was able to decipher some of it over time, probably still haven't deciphered everything, but it was just extraordinary just being able to receive information about science, mathematics, spirituality, the history of the world, like all these things that I couldn't understand right then was just flooding in my brain. Eventually that stopped, and I started to experience this blue, very bright blue light in my subconscious meditative state, and it started getting closer to me perceivingly. And as it got closer, I felt love from this thing, from this entity, from whatever it was. And not just love like I'd never felt before. I thought I had loved, like, people in my family, my friends. This was different. This felt like pure, like real, like, I knew at that time that this is real love. What I've never felt this before. What is this going on? And then all of a sudden it spoke to me, this entity, psychically, instantly, and started communicating. And the communication was very amazing. I'd ask it something and it had the answer before I would even finish the question in my mind. And it was just kind of like an emotional communication, imagery and feelings that were converted into language somehow. It's very hard to describe if you've ever had these experiences. And, the communications instantaneously, I got kind of scared at first during this experience because I'd never experienced anything like it. I also grew up Catholic, so I kind of reverted to some weird dogma. And I asked, and in the name of Jesus, are you good? I thought I was being, infiltrated by a demon or something. And I could sense it laughing, and I sensed this amazing feeling of love. And before I could even finish, that weird question, it just like, yes, you're, just the reassurance and the love was just like, okay, I guess I can trust. And it just proceeded to say, you're ready to meet me. We're going to have a conversation. At that time, I had no idea what I was speaking with. Like I said, now I believe it is my higher self or spirit guide or something along those lines. I gained a little better understanding with each experience, but at that time, I thought I was talking to an alien at first, it's like, man, I made contact, and in certain perceptions, maybe it is an alien. I don't know. So we had this conversation, and it's mainly about me and things that I would need to do to get where I'm going and things that I want to do. And this being just kept reiterating to quit my job no matter what. You need to quit your job and just do this, do what you're passionate about. And said there's going to be things you need to do in order to get there. There's some childhood trauma blocking you. You got to take care of this. There's some emotional things. You're going to have to read up on this. You're going to have to look at this. You're going to have to start talking to this person, like all these things that, kind of suggestions on what I should be doing to get where I'm going. And it was very profound. It was like a couple-hour conversation, and it just eventually faded. And like that, like I said, at that time, I thought I was, had my first alien contact experience. After that, I started contacting my researcher and, ufology friends and all the people who were in that realm, and just kind of asking them what they thought about the experience. And that led me to different understandings. And then the next day, I wanted to kind of recreate it. I wanted to do that again because I just needed my own confirmations on it. Didn't happen. The meditation really didn't go anywhere. Then the following day, something told me to go in water and do this. And to this day, water is very important with these experiences. But for me, it's like a conductor or something. So I got in the water, started meditating, and boom, instantly in this meditative state, I'm not immediately greeted by my spirit guides, but something else kind of led me to a childhood traumatic experience that I relived. And apparently I had to experience that, and it was very traumatic, and I had remembered everything. And when I come back from that experience, what I understand is my guide is there again, this blue, beautiful light enveloping my subconscious, sending me love. And we start speaking again. And this time I can open my eyes, and I can see, like, I'm in my bathtub. I can see I'm still in this weird meditative state. It feels like I'm kind of under the influence of something, but if you've ever done psychedelics, that feeling you start to get when it starts to hit, that's kind of what it felt like during these experiences. So I can open my eyes, I can see the bathroom, I close my eyes, and all of a sudden in my vision, like usually I can't see anything when I'm communicating with this except this blue light. When I close my eyes this time, I am on what I can only describe as like a spaceship or something. The floors are gunmetal gray, huge, massive windows that I can see out into space. And all of a sudden, these etheric beings start appearing on the different levels of what I perceive as a ship. And these etheric beings are in robes and hoods, and they are animal-human hybrid beings. And they begin to communicate and send me massive amounts of love, and I can tell it's from different types of beings. And oddly enough, a little frog hybrid man starts talking to me, welcoming me to this whatever we're communicating on. I don't remember exactly some of the things that he was telling me. He was welcoming me to a few things, and I wish I could have remembered, but I was very emotional at this time. I was actually like, crying during my meditation, like, oh man, I'm talking to whatever the hell these are. This is insane. And, they keep just giving me these feelings of love and more instruction on what I should be doing. And this, I have an understanding is, just different guides that started showing up for me during that second experience. And there was the very next day, that third experience, which solidified everything. I have a medical condition because of my gallbladder removal that was done a long time ago, where it causes me lots of problems with things I eat, and I can't eat certain things. Well, that third day I decided to eat something stupid, and it put me out. Like, I was in such pain, in fetal position in bed, couldn't move. And when this happens, usually it's days or, at least a few hours where I'm in this, I can't do anything. It's pain. Within a few minutes, something told me, try and meditate, try and get in touch with guys. Maybe they can do something. So I did. I was able to get into a meditative state, and I'm like, you guys like heal me or something? How do you do that? And the message I got immediately was, you can do that yourself. Don't worry about that. You got that. And but as soon as I start to feel this love feeling from them, the sickness and just the pain went away immediately. And it was just like this kind of manifestation in our physical reality that let me know that there's something really to this. And another major message that I got, and they said that this is, my personal path, and it's not for everyone, and but for you to easily access this communication and us, you can use, there's certain types of plant medicines, which I was given instructions on how to grow magic mushrooms by these guides and everything. And I had help with a few other people, but by the time, like within a few months, probably 2 months of that experience, I was able to quit my job. I was able to move out to Colorado. And it was very synchronistic how all of this happened through donations and all these strange things that started occurring after this experience just started flooding through. I was able to move to Colorado. And eventually started making enough money to pay our rent out there, and then I'm making enough money to pay rent and eat some food. So that was even more surreal. And at that same time, I'm experimenting with growing my own magic mushrooms. Within a couple of months, I'm able to harvest my first, magic mushrooms. And I noticed after my first experience with this that almost immediately the guides would be there during this whole experience, these same entities communicating, major communications the whole time, very profound, every single experience. So that kind of propelled my path and everything that I was doing, everything that I was learning through that. And that's actually, I still, it's now completely legal to have magic mushrooms in the state of Colorado. So I still have those. I'm not currently growing them anymore, but many others are. And I still use those for my vision quests and a lot of communication with my guides. And I get a lot of information about, things going on in my surroundings and my family and friends. So it's pretty profound the way everything unfolded. And that's, again, where I'm at now.
It sounded very similar to the love you were describing. Sounded very similar to my love zap. It's just it's like a universal knowing kind of love. Is that?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
That kind of thing, right? And it's deeper and richer and like as soon as I felt it, I said, this is a universe. This is the universal. This is the source love or something.
Yeah.
That's what it felt.
It's not like anything I've ever felt for anyone or from anyone on this planet here.
Yeah. So I assume that what they told you, that what they wanted you to do was to start this Forbidden Knowledge News Network and to share truths with everybody. Is that?
Well, they didn't really tell me I had already been doing Forbidden Knowledge News by the time I had this first experience. They just encouraged me to keep going. They encouraged me to continue and, expand some of the things that I was doing. And eventually I did. I was able to start, like you said, the Forbidden Knowledge Network, where we feature other podcasts now, and that continues to grow. And it's an evolutionary process that,
they wanted you on Team Inside Out. And in order to do that, they had to give you experiences and upgrades a little bit, and some, some love.
Yeah.
But anyway, I want to talk about that. When you saw the blue-white light, where was it in location to your, was it here or there or over here?
It was on my right, above the right temple here, started coming close that way.
And this is from the inside with your eyes closed, right? You would see it.
Yes.
That's pretty cool, because blue-white light's pretty, that's pretty up there in the echelon. The other thing I would like to say is that I was friends with Ray Hernandez and Mary Rodwell when they were starting the Dr. Edgar Mitchell Foundation for Research into Extraterrestrial Encounters. Did I ever tell you about that? I don't think I did.
I don't think you mentioned that, no.
Yeah, so well, anyway, they did a big survey. It was like 2,000 people and 600 questions in 3 phases. So that it was because of their research, and they wrote a published paper that the New York Times, like about 3 or 4 months after that book was published and the papers were published, that they had to break the news about UFOs, because you can't have a scientific paper and the newspaper's not, the government's not responding. So they forced it. But anyway, it was on the second phase of that. It was, like I said, 600 questions. And the phenomenal thing about it was the ET people and the near-death people were having the same kind of results: an upgrade, more spirituality, more consciousness, more love, more connecting to nature, and more more peace in their life, and less worry, no fear, and all this kind of stuff. All these things were going hand in hand. It's the same kind of thing as the people who are really connecting with the Sasquatch people, or the people who are doing past life regressions, or the people who are doing energy healing work. There's this whole vibrational plateau that people go to. What I wanted to say was that number one thing that had this one question was, what did you see on the craft? Not everybody sees everything on the craft, right? The number one thing that people saw on the craft was a light being. The light being were either balls of light that could communicate and give love, or they were robed beings, but the robe was made out of light, and inside the robe, where it should have been a body, was light coming out of it. So I just thought I would say that, and that whether it's spirit guides or whether it's the ETs or whatever, whatever, it doesn't really matter. It's just that that's really good stuff,
Oh yeah.
And you're definitely on Team Inside Out, because there's a big push to not dictate to humans what they should do. They'll say, oh, look, meditation is good, but that's something you do on the inside, then you reap the benefits from it. Or resolve your childhood issues. Because that's the big block. That's like what my specialty is, right? Is resolving those childhood issues, because that opens you up to, you brings that childhood energy up to the front. So, that's all good stuff, man. Seriously.
Yeah.
You know what I like? I take away from your story and many others is that it doesn't seem to matter if it's Sasquatch, if it's spirit guides, if it's or whoever the source of the information is, or how you experience it. It all seems to be connected. It all seems to be the same. You could be talking. You could just put Sasquatch in there, connected you, and there would be nothing that contradicted what I've experienced or what others have experienced. And it just shows how connected we all are, right?
Yeah, definitely does.
Let me just ask, go ahead.
I was just going to say that, there was also a point during some of these experiences where whenever I was releasing some of that childhood trauma, there would be attachments, there would be entity attachments that I would have to face and deal with and conquer in order to move on. And those were actually some kind of terrifying situations. But yeah, go ahead.
Sort of like
Uh,
killing demons.
Yes.
So in your, I mean, my passion, although like I said, it's all connected anyway, but my passion is focused on Sasquatch and their teaching and stuff of that nature. But what are the things that fascinate you the most or intrigue you the most or have drawn you in your interest in this vast field?
It kind of it shifts, and there's different phases that I go through, different times where I'll be looking at different things. I mean, of course, some of my favorite has always been the multidimensional nature of reality, the possibility of life beyond our spectrum, the communication with other entities. And even before I had with my experience, that was one of the main things that I would always be interested in as a kid: science fiction, aliens, things like that. And more recently, some of the aspects of the strange nature of our reality, how it points to it may not be even a physical reality, linear in any means, that we might be in some kind of holographic simulation of some sorts. And I hate to say that because that so poorly describes the reality that we're in and the greatness that it is. But I've become, just interested in the strange aspects of history that don't make sense, things that don't fit together, things that could point to not only resets in our history, but that things change, that things just happen to shift, things are malleable, things are definitely not physical. And looking back, it's very hard to tell what our real history is, and especially because right now, while we speak, there is a rewriting of history going on. So it's hard to look back 10, 20, 30, much less 100 or 1,000 years ago and know what was really happening. But it is very interesting to me that things like the Mandela effect and what people have reported lately, glitches in what you would call a matrix, planes stopped in mid-flight, some of the cryptid experiences that don't really make sense, portals, and a lot of the stuff that is being researched at places like Skinwalker Ranch, Meadow, places of high strangeness.
Have most of your experiences and encounters been positive?
All of them, except for there was one where I actually had to face a manifestation of a reptilian attachment that was attached to me through a childhood trauma. Yeah, I was actually working through a childhood trauma with one of my exes, and it was during a plant medicine session. And this experience was so profound. I'd never experienced anything since or before or after like this. I was actually taken, I believe, to a different type of realm with this entity during this experience, but she had helped me clear a childhood trauma. And apparently there was an entity attached to this that was not happy about that. So after we had our session and she was clearing, she had done clearing everything, we were having a conversation, and all of a sudden, at this point I didn't know what was going on, but this reptilian hijacked my perception of everything, and it manifested through my girlfriend. Its face came through hers. I could see the teeth, the scales, and it started just saying all these horrible things. It started saying, well, I found you years ago. I attached myself to you and I brought you here. I did all these wonderful things for you. I loved you. I made you stronger. And now you want to get rid of me. And it just started saying, you don't love me anymore. And actually kind of started chasing me through the house. It chased me to the basement. And at this point, my whole house had turned into what looked like a dungeon. It had bars on the windows. When I looked outside, the sky was blood red. They had weird mold all over the walls. Everything around me was changed. I was no longer in my house. I was in this strange reptilian dungeon, and it kept following me around saying, you don't love me anymore. I had no idea what to do. For a moment there, I thought I had died and I was in hell. So I start praying to my guides, and apparently my girlfriend was doing the same. She was in a meditative state, calling to her guides, and for some reason, I was called to jump in the shower. The water hit me, and I puked up this black goo. That's all I could say.
Oh,
Just like
shit.
this.
That's
Wow.
Puked up this crazy black stuff. And as I was doing that, everything turned bright and beautiful again. I'm back in my house, and this voice, this commanding voice said, "You're being deceived." And then everything just went back to normal. And, apparently she was helping on her end with her guides. I had called to my guides, and they zapped that thing out of me, and hadn't had any problems with that one since.
Oh, that's amazing. That's amazing.
That's like that's one of the things I teach. I did this whole thing on your show about emotional release work. You do emotional release work, and that kind of stuff will come out. I remember one time I did a workshop in Jamaica, and I did it like it was 3 days, right? And so I did the whole program over, and so there was basically 3 days of practice. And the first day was the people taking care of their mom and pop stuff, right? And then the next day, people were taking care of their, relationships, boy-girl stuff. And then the last day of the workshop, and this is each time they're doing this full-on primal scream stuff, right? And the last day, and then this is in Jamaica, so everybody in the workshop was black, right? So here's this white guy teaching black people about emotions. Then the last day I said, okay, let's go to the God stuff, right? And because I know that we have a huge amount of rage and resentment towards God, because like, why are there poor people? Why do I suffer? This is all going on the subconscious level. When that stuff comes up, man, we had people like jumping around, and demons were coming out of people, and it was like, and ancestors, because the black people had like about 1 million years of ancestor relationships, you know what I mean? And so these ancestors were coming out, and oh man, it was powerful stuff. The most powerful stuff you can do is heal your inner child and do this, destroyer of worlds, become a God killer, right? Because the God that you really are angry at isn't the real God. It's the lower Lord. It's the usurper of God, and the evil gods, right? The angry, vindictive gods. Yeah, that's really powerful work when you can do it. I mean, and I wish that could become more mainstream, where people are, they're a destroyer of worlds, because that demon shit creates a world of pain inside of you, right?
Yes.
And that's your world. There's like a world of animosity or fear or diminished return. In other words, your bad self-image and I'm not worthy and all that kind of crap.
Yes.
Yeah, and that's not a good world to live in.
Yeah, and that was, my reality for years, waking up to that, being depressed because of that. And I had no idea that things like that were a part of me and holding on, and were the reason that I couldn't become successful. And yeah, you're exactly right. I'd be down on myself, not have the optimism, or not have the courage to do something because I thought I wasn't good enough for it. And then eventually, after having these multitude of experiences, it's turned into, I am seeking the best that I can, and I believe that I'm on the best positive timeline, and I'm happy with everything that I'm doing, and I love the work that I'm doing, and I love that everything that I've become. So that sends you on this new perpetual frequency, that once you hit that it's going to be easier to keep on that path.
Yeah.
You're talking a radical 180 degree, turnaround in life. This is what the classic awakening or really is about. It's a transformation from the inside out, and it's not a little thing. It's not like, oh well, I speak better words to myself. No, it's a whole transformation.
Yeah.
Are your guides teaching you universal truths, or or is it personal stuff to you? But I do realize that, we're led to different people and we connect with different people. It's not a coincidence. So I guess a lot of your knowledge is coming through your guests, and then it confirms, what you already know or whatever. But how do they? Like,
well, it's not.
my
it's not
SASQUATCH guide
they gave me universal truths or whatever kind of thing, like just an instant download of stuff. Is that your experience? Do you get like instant
Lately,
download
yes.
by knowing?
It used to be just focusing on things that I needed to do personally. It would never go beyond these things like universal truths. But the past year or two, yes, I've been getting profound downloads, some that I am told to really not speak with anyone yet about. There's been downloads about the the properties of water and the reality of what water is, and the power that it could bring to our world and things like that. But yeah, I've been given universal truths as of late, and they keep coming a little bit more and more. I guess the more that I've healed myself, they believe I'm ready to move on to some of that other stuff.
Wow, that's profound. Yeah.
Water and rock make life, you know.
Mm.
And I talked about that on your show about the elementals, right? This water, water, earth, you know, air and fire, you know, and those guys are part of the team inside out. And so,
Well, for
you
me,
know,
the water has I have a special connection to water. They showed me past lives where I was very connected to water.
yeah, you might have been Syrian for all you know.
Yeah, and I can actually channel different guides through my water. I was able to do a few channeling sessions lately for people around me. So
That's seriously cool. But so what I'm saying is this water, rock, because the rock told me the whole history of life on Earth, right? I spent like three hours at night, and then 3 consecutive days he did an update on it, right? So it was the nighttime and dream state, and then in waking state. And then you're getting engaged in water, but that's the elemental. I mean, that's like elementals are fundamentals. So there, you know, you talk about spirit guides and higher realms and everything, but it's also the fundamentals, right? And rock and water and air. Air is the highest being there is. When you meditate and you pull in this air, it's full of chi, and you can build up your body full of chi, full of what do you call it? Electromagnetic, whatever it is, piezoelectric. Yeah, man, you get blasted right out of here with that stuff.
Did you want to, you know, you're not going to be with us as long as a lot of our guests today. You only got an hour, maybe a little hour and a bit. So did you want to share some profound things that people told you on your shows, or that opened your mind or your heart, or some stuff, just some stuff
well,
that really
that depends on what topic. I cover such a wide variety of topics with a lot of insane revelations that I've heard. But I guess, let's see, lately I have I don't know if you are familiar with Ryan Burns, who has property outside Skinwalker Ranch. He's been telling me about some of the things that he can talk about. He's signed a bunch of non-disclosure agreements with aerospace companies that come out to his property to do experiments and to try and find out what the source of the weirdness and paranormal activity is going on. And probably I would have to unfortunately say trying to weaponize some of this stuff, but you know, we'll never know until they actually come out and show us what they're doing, if they ever do. But some of the things that Ryan himself is involved with, he's doing his own type of experimentation and research out there. He has things technologies that simulate different altered states. He's got technologies that can attract the phenomenon and get you to interact with it. Plus, he's learned different methods of communication with whatever it is that's out there. And the more he interacts with it, it seems like an overarching consciousness of some type that just interacts with every single person differently. But I find it very interesting, some of the things that are going on out there. And I am actually going to be taking a trip probably before the summer and go and spend some time on the property so I can check out some of that energy for myself and see what's going on out there.
Well, in Skinwalker Ranch, a lot of people have like a negative kind of, like they think it's a negative kind of thing going on there. But my experience, you know, in relation to Sasquatch or whatever,
it's negative to the negative people walking out.
Yes, exactly. Yes.
A lot of these experiences are depend on one's interpretation, you know.
Yeah. From what I understand, this entity is very protective of the area. And if military and these aerospace companies and people with negative aspirations are going out there to try and do something that isn't for its best interest, it's going to have a negative experience for them. People that approach it with respect and love, and people that are genuinely just curious to interact with the phenomenon, it will probably have a positive experience.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's pretty well across the board for most of these kind of things. Yeah. Interpretation, like, as simple as, like a Sasquatch will throw a rock out on the path in front of you, and some people will think it's the end of their life and they'll freak right out, and other people will say, hey, my friends are here. So, it really is open to interpretation, and a perceived negative experience could be very positive for somebody else. So,
yeah. And I've never, I've never experienced any type of physical manifestation. I've never seen, things like a Bigfoot, or I've never been in a would be considered haunted area and witnessed any activity. All my experience have been very personal and nothing I would consider really like traditionally paranormal. But to have that little additional experience of interaction, I think would be very, very profound for me.
Well, we are a Sasquatch show. So, and you've had a lot of Sasquatch experiencers on your show.
Mhm.
Can you share some of the most incredible stories or experiences that have been related to you?
So let's see. They have had a couple, and I'm forgetting the gentleman's name. Oh, Scott Pace. Okay. Have you guys talked with Scott Pace?
Scott Pace.
Yeah, we had him on our show.
Okay, yeah. He's had, man, some of his experiences were amazing, when he's talking about the psychic communication between, like a three-way conversation between him, a Sasquatch, and a dog man. That's very insane. And some of the aspects that that there may be coming out of portals or interacting with portals, or have an understanding of a state of matter that we don't, to where they can either change our perception of them or change what we see when we're looking at them. Some of those aspects are really fantastic to me, and it just tells me there's so much more to it than just a lost hominid or ape man walking through the woods, So and the psychic communication, more and more individuals like yourself are coming out and saying that when they go out into these areas, they can sense some kind of communication, either warnings or, senses of love or information. And they have this intuitive feeling that it's from a Sasquatch being.
So, I like what you said, the first part, because my findings have been that they can literally give any individual, and even like selected individuals within a group that are in the same setting, they can give them any sensory, visual, or audible experience that they want to put into that person's field of perception. Like it's incredible. Like you could be out in the woods and somebody will hear a huge bang crash, like two semis colliding and whatever, and the other person beside them will hear nothing. So it really is. It's just it really is the truth. I mean, I've experienced it over and over and over again. That's a real thing, and it's quite amazing.
I'm having more and more researchers and individuals who are doing the gifting aspect for these beings, and they're having much success with it, and the communication keeps getting more and more elaborate with what they're gifting and what they're receiving from these creatures, and that I find is really interesting too. You were showing me some of the like effigies and stick figures and things like that were very incredible, and they seem to be stepping up their game with some of that stuff with people.
Absolutely. And they also have a sense of humor. I'm sure that some of the gifting things, or some of the things that they leave you, is very, very funny, and you can just sense them watching you as you come up, upon it and whatever, and you can feel their energy, their mirth, kind of thing. And so they're very heartfelt, heart-centered beings.
Well, I'm out in northern Colorado, and of course we do have a lot of sightings from people out here. I would love to, set up some kind of, little expedition or outing with some individuals who do research out here. So if there's anybody who's listening who's in this area, would like to maybe get together and share some
You
information.
should get
on the
together.
show.
You should get together with Barry Webster out in, where is he? Is he in Nebraska? Where is he? Brian, where's Barry live? So I thought it was Nebraska, but may not be. Anyway, he's had three, every time somebody goes out with him, they have sightings or they have interactions.
Mm.
He's First Nation, and that's pretty cool. You want me to tell you what the big picture is with Sasquatch and the ET people?
Of course.
The ET people have been looking at us, and they've been helping us for a long time. Like, started the abduction and the connecting with children in the 50s, right after Roswell, and they said outright they want to come here and have this as a base, have this as a commerce, have us part of the galactic family. And so that, instead of us keep away from Earth, they're going to be a Earth station, right? So all the ETs can come here. And they wanted to do this, and they wanted to do this for the last 70 years. But one of the conditions that they need from us is that we can treat all of the animals and other humans on the planet equally. And so that's what the Sasquatch people are doing. Until we can say that their Sasquatch are real and we need to protect them, that they are humans like us, they're primal humans like us. And as soon as you get, let's say, Washington and California and a few other states say that they are citizens of the country, that they have the same rights that we do, and we should leave them alone until that threshold of acceptance for our own people is met. Then that's sort of like the green light for the ET people, because if we can live comfortably alongside what we call the mountain monsters and stuff, they're not monsters at all. If we can't accept our people who are 99% human, we can't accept them, then what are we going to be doing with little frog people or little lion-headed people or something? You know what I'm saying? We have to meet that threshold. So there's this whole thing that's been going on with the ET and the forest people, where they've been interacting with people. So the forest people are interacting more with people, more sightings from cars, more looking in windows, more being sighted and picking garbage, and more, right? That's been going on. I mean, they've stepped it up a lot. So they're like in our consciousness now, just like the ET people are in our consciousness now, but they're actually together. Yeah.
Yeah, I noticed the same thing.
Number six, most seen on spacecraft is the Sasquatch people.
Really?
The big ones and the small ones.
Yeah, I've definitely noticed that. I've talked with many individuals who are having newer and more experiences, and people are having their first time experiences seeing this phenomenon. I think it presents itself differently to different people, so that based on whatever they can handle at that time, maybe, I think that it may present itself differently depending on a person's level of awareness, possibly. So that's very interesting, and I think that I think they got a lot of work to do. I don't think that we are completely ready as a species for
Might take
at
us
least some
another
people.
might take us another 30 or 40 years, but look at the buzz we're getting. Hundreds and hundreds of little podcasts about Sasquatch now, and there's just a lot of channels. And you got that Steve Isdall, and he's got, I think he said he gets 4 million views a month. You know what I mean? Steve Isdall with how to hunt.
Mm-hmm.
So go ahead.
They're guiding us to get this out there so that we can gradually have acceptance of it. I can feel their presence right now. Actually, they're happy with the work people like us are doing. So, with me, my big message from them is about that we're citizens of the universal collective. We're all one. We're all connected. We're all sort of like expressions of God expressing himself, kind of thing. And they're big. They want me to say this. They're big message is that, is that everything is based in love. We cannot, we have to quit judging. We have to quit being in fear because there's nothing to fear. We have to quit buying into the lie of division and stuff like that, because they're all lower negative vibrational practices. And once, when we raise our vibrations, we know that we don't judge naturally as much. We don't buy into all the lies that are going around in the world today. So these messages from them and from other sources, because I know they're all connected, so they're giving the same message, is that that's the transition shift people are talking about. That's how we get out of this this quagmire and this horrible reality we are in right now, is by rising above it vibrationally. So it's a very powerful time, a very special time in our human evolution, and you can obviously see that with your show. We can see it with our guests, with our personal experiences. That's what's happening today, is that they're reintroducing us to who we truly are and who we can be.
Yeah, I've noticed such profound changes in a lot of people, and I'm very encouraged in where we're going. I don't think that the majority of people are, first of all, they're not ready for the whatever agendas they're trying to push us this transhuman era, this technocratic era. Most people just don't want that. I think that we're in the majority. I think that it's all an illusion, that they're trying to get us to believe that more people want us to go in that direction. And I think it's becoming more and more every day. And there is a definite split in timelines that people are going down right now. But I think that as long as collectively we continue to do what we're doing, and people have these experiences, and the ET people and the Sasquatch and all continue their due diligence to help us wake up, that it's inevitable that I don't think that we are going to have any type of, horrible dystopian future that people talk about, that the awakening has already started. We're already heading into this era, and there's no stopping it now. It's just a snowball effect, and that'll keep going until we have, hopefully, the best state of humanity that we can have.
Yeah, just when you're saying those words, I can feel their energy just saying, yes, it's true. I'm just lit up like it's lit up with confirmation, an energy nudge, I call them. So yeah, I believe everything you say. I believe the future is bright, and I believe we are moving on towards that.
We had Barbara Jean Lindsay on a couple of weeks ago, and she channeled the whole RE, which is Brian Bland's clan, right? The RE clan. That was phenomenal. Each one of them just like giving messages, and everybody was on the show, and even the people who watched the show, they could just feel these waves of stuff and powerful stuff to have stuff like that. So we've had several other people channel Sasquatch. That's like a new level, right? They're willing to channel on air and communicate on air. So that's coming. And I think the ET people have done it. They have people who specialize in talking to the different ET people and giving messages and stuff back and forth. So we're coming along. What I'm saying is we're coming along the same way. You look at the ETs and you look at the Sasquatch people. They're coming along neck and neck.
Yeah. Hey, we should we should scratch your back and you should scratch ours. We should exchange some guests.
Oh, like, for any time. I'm happy to. I love doing that for people. I already do that for many people. So
we'd love some of the people that to come on our show, and like people like Barbara Jean Lindsay, for instance, and we've had a lot of people on our show that I know you would love to have on yours. So we'll be in contact, and we'll.
Who'd be good? Who'd be good for your show is this lady named Barbara Lamb. You ever heard of Barbara Lamb?
I've had Barbara on a long time ago. Yeah, I even had a in-person interview with her at a conference.
So sweet! What a sweet lady.
Yeah.
But I don't know if you know this, but when she went to South America, right? She kind of do the crop circles and all this kind of stuff. There's one time she went to South America, and she was talking to the people down there, and And they told her that from their research in South America, that 50% of the people who've been on craft in South America were on a Sasquatch craft and a Sasquatch crew.
That's great.
Is that mind blowing? So in the northern hemisphere, you see mostly the grays and the humanoid types and stuff, but in South America, it's like mostly Sasquatch. So that's kind of like a mind bender, you know. Now those Sasquatch may not be from this planet, but even so, the Sasquatch people are space-bearing, you know, people.
So I guess Lucas was on to something with Chewbacca, huh?
Chewbacca, yeah, and the little ones too. You know those the Ewoks, or what do they call them? The little
Yeah.
short guys running around. Those are also seen on craft.
Yeah. That's
So we're coming up to an hour, and I'm enjoying this conversation so much. I don't want to let you go, but I realize you have to go soon. How much time do you have? Because
let's see. I can go about 10 more minutes if we need.
Okay. So what is your like I said, I got downloads of universal knowing, whatever. What have your downloads said to you? What do you think of who we are, the connection of everything? What's your big picture knowing?
Well, like I said, it wasn't until recently that I started getting these universal types of downloads, but one of the first was exactly what you said, that we are all connected. We are all one, that there somehow in the evolution of Source, from the time Source decided to split into however billions of pieces of consciousness to create this universe, that part of the split actually, through experience had to experience negativity or evil, and that split took on a kind of consciousness of its own, and that's where we have this kind of good and evil split. And the evil part of it just kind of it's the vision that I was shown was that it's kind of like a scared child that wants to reunite with Source, but has been so far separated and removed that it causes so much just evil and pain that it keeps fractalizing itself. But eventually that we do have a chance to bring it all back together, and that all of us, no matter how far removed we are from Source, do want to get back to that main energy, to back where we came from. And that's all where we're trying to get right now. And that's just one of the main types of downloads that I've gotten as far as universal truths.
You know what? That really, when you were saying that just hit me so hard. That's just like a big universal version of what Mr. Beans is talking about. Healing the inner child or whatever. I just got that.
Your power back. You got to get your power back. Your congruency, right? Since we're not all split and fragmented, we got to get that congruent energy, and it that feels good. Yeah, what a great.
Didn't it feel like that to you, Beans? Like what he was saying was like you're talking about
also exactly what the Sasquatch was saying is like,
but you're talking about
connected.
You're talking about individuals though, but what he was saying, it was exactly the same thing, but it's on the big universal darkness.
Even on an individual basis, we're split and fragmented. It's both, macro and micro. Yeah.
No, it's both. But what I was saying is that Beans talks on an individual level, although I'm sure he's aware of the big picture level. But what you were saying was exactly the same thing on the big picture level, which I found like, wow, that's pretty compelling.
Yeah. And I think, that's the idea, is just to put ourselves back together and become part of that one Source again,
The other thing is we are the technology. We are the technology. Yeah. The technology that you think is out there, the super duper technology, we are that technology. It's not going to be made out of plastic and laser beams and stuff. Do you know how those big motherships are made? They have these people, these beings that pull their energy together, and they pull out of the vacuum of space. They create atoms and layers of energy of a conscious being. They create a conscious being that in the shape of a craft, and they create it from nothing. Okay, there's no manufacturer. There's big spaceports and stuff out there. The little ones do. Can you imagine that? We heard one of our guests was talking about his friend went on a ship that was 10 miles high and 100 miles long, and that thing was a conscious living ship, right?
Mhm.
So what does that tell you?
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
that's so fascinating.
It's not the technology that we all get the big wow about is us. We are the technology.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you're doing some channeling now? You said?
Well, this is something very new that I have been able to do. And it's just basically I've been able to answer questions for a couple of friends and my girlfriend through my guides, where I don't remember anything. They just kind of take over and speak through me. And I recorded it a couple of times, and it's just the creepiest thing I've ever heard. But yes, yeah.
You can do it just on the spot kind of thing?
No.
No, he has to get in hot water first.
Water, definitely.
Okay, but
he does hot water channeling. That's pretty funny.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this though. I mean, because you've obviously got a pretty well-rounded understanding of what you've been taught and what your guides are telling you, whatever. What would you say if you were going to give a message to humanity now and what we're going through and or in general? What do you think that message from your guides or your sources would be? What would it be about?
Start to love yourself, start to give yourself the time of day, start to feed yourself what you want spiritually, emotionally, mentally, and let yourself be who you're supposed to be, and don't get down on yourself and don't be afraid to take the steps to do that, because in my experience, when I took that first step to achieve my goals and just, took a leap of faith and quit my job, the universe takes 10 steps extra for you for just taking that first initiative. And you can feel that. You can feel the universe working with you when you just take the initiative to show that you want to be in a better place, that you want to do better, that you want to experience more out of your life. And you take that first step, it takes 10 steps for you, and continue, take more steps, and then the process will keep going. And just be grateful. Gratitude is for everything that you receive, for every wonderful thing that's happened, for everything you've learned, even good or bad. Just be grateful for it all. And that's what I would say.
And the synchronicities are so apparent when you go that route, eh? I mean, and the connection and the synchronicities,
100%. Yes.
Beautiful.
Yes.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we got maybe 2 or 3 more minutes, I guess. That
yeah. Well,
good?
we can cut it off, guys. If there's any other last minute questions that you want me to field for you.
I did have some.
See if anybody in our comment section down here has got anything.
Somebody asked what your show was, but it's Forbidden Knowledge News, and it's on YouTube, right?
No, well, we put clips on YouTube. We are so horribly censored on YouTube that we can't really put much up in there, but it's available on all podcast platforms. It's available on Odyssey, Rockfin. That's the main places you can get it.
Okay. Well, can we invite you back again sometime?
Oh, anytime, man. Yeah. And we'll do it to where I'll have more time next time for sure.
Yeah. If you ever like just reach out, if you ever have like a block where you can spend like a couple hours with us or whatever, or something like that.
Especially if you get out there to that Skinwalker a neighborhood.
Yeah,
that'd be seriously fun, because I got a feeling, we have a friend that opens up portals, and I made a joke with her. I said, what are these CIA guys going to do when they go in the portal and they find out it's nothing but bliss? And she laughed. She said, they love that shit. You know what I mean? Because it's the portal isn't into hell. It's into a higher realm. And you're going to feel bliss there.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Thank you so much.
Okay. Well, so on behalf of Port Cunningham and the world's handsomest man, Frank Oliver Beans, this has been the Pork and Beans Show. And thank you, Chris Matthews.
Matthew,
go watch his stuff. He's got good stuff. One of the better shows out there. Go watch his stuff.
Yeah, I mean, we're on it. It's got to be good.
Oh yeah.
I'm just joking.
You guys.
Anyway, thanks for coming by, Chris. And and like I said, reach out to us. and we'll have you on again, and then we'll exchange some names and try to, set you up with some guests and vice versa. You could
Sounds
probably do
great,
more
guys.
calls than we could do for you, but that's okay.
Hey, I'm ready for it. I can't wait to exchange some guests and come back on. We'll have another good time.
Thank you, man. Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much. Talk to you next time.
Have a
Bye,
good
everybody.
day.
All right.
All
that was
right,
good.
we're still live.
And we're still live on.
And we're still alive. We still survived. I like that guy. His energy is just such a good energy.
Yeah.
I've actually watched most of his stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. I like the, I was just struck with what, I reiterate, when he was talking about how the dark side of the universe, opposed to the light, it's got to heal itself and whatever, but that was just so consistent with what you're saying that I just thought that was amazing. It just shows you how.
And what the Sasquatch was saying too, the ET people, it's all good stuff. I mean, that's to me, that's the way we're going.
So how do people, some people were asking in the chat, how do they start this journey of healing their inner child? That's the work that you do. So what would you recommend to them?
I got videos on YouTube, and so they could watch it. I'll have a group called Language Lessons of the Heart, where we just give you introduce you to the videos, and just watch the videos and do it yourself. You have to have that desire to change. And inner child work is really, really powerful, because it's like the same idea as going back with like a regression or something like that, a past life regression or something. You can go back and find, what's bothering you. And then you have talking to the parts of self, where it's like having four inner child. Your head, your heart, your will is in your belly, and your body. And you can talk to each one of them, and you can work out, what's going on with the body, what's going on with my heart, what's going on with my head. And you resolve all those issues that you have, and make everything nice. That's really good. And you increase your self-love by 400%. And it works like channeling. Basically, when we speak, we're actually channeling from our spirit. But you can also channel from your heart. You can speak from your heart, speak from your will, speak from your body. So those are just some things. They have lots of benefits from all these things.
So
there's people out there. Huh?
People can just reach out to you if they want to.
They can reach out to me, or just join Language Lessons of the Heart group on Facebook. And what about you? You still got your book for sale? And
yeah, it's called. It's about my journey with the Sasquatch people, specifically the clan of RE, and it's got a lot of my experiences in there. And I shoot from the hip. I don't care what people think of it. If they don't want to. So in other words, what I'm saying is I don't water anything down. It talks about my experiences and the lessons that were derived from those experiences. And it's, it was a labor of love for me. And it's called A Sasquatch Story, My Life with the Clan of RE. And you can get it on Amazon. And and also, of course, I've got my YouTube channel, Sasquatch PC, The True Story, Pork and Beans Show, and I've got every single episode that we've ever done on the Pork and Beans, edited with some fancy stuff in there, like an intro, outro, and a bunch of my own personal stories, lessons, teachings, stuff like that. So I'd be honored to have you stop by and check out that as well.
We got anybody lined up for later in the month?
Yeah, we got two more people. We got the lady who had that picture that was that sadly a lot of people who aren't open to stuff like that were.
Oh yeah, we had a little trimming. We had trimmed the fat of Pork and Beans. It kicked a few people out because they're being nasty.
I don't want to.
4 years we never had to kick anybody out, so that's pretty good. You got a lot of groups kick people out every day.
Well, I don't like to kick people out, but I think it's a product of because we're expanding so much.
Just have me do it. I'll
and-
do it, or Kevin will do it. It's no big deal
Well,
kicking people out.
I don't believe in.
There's probably 70 groups out there that people can join. They don't have to be in this group.
Well, I don't like judgment and whatever, but this is not judgment. This is maintaining the integrity of the group and giving people a safe haven to share their experiences because, these things that we talk about are real. People have experienced them. And just because somebody is not on that heart-based level or hasn't experienced it or they're closed-minded to it, doesn't mean that they can criticize our experiences, And let's face it, some of these people, they don't even know what they're talking about. They just want to argue.
Well, we're real nice, but we do carry a stick. It'll knock you out.
No, but some people that they just argue for argument's sake. They don't even know what they're talking about. They just want to argue. They just want to, and they just want to, and they're miserable and not happy, and they just want to make everybody else that way. so those kind of people, bless you, and I hope you.
But on the positive side, like I said, I feel things are turning around. A lot of people that I thought were kind of real rigid researchers, you don't run into them anymore. You very seldom run into a ape only researcher, right? Now researchers are softening up that these beings are conscious, they have these abilities. The woo doesn't go away, even though the woo is not the biggest part of it. It's still there and doesn't go away. So they have to include it because everybody else is including it.
Well, I was at a conference just a few months ago, and even some of the old time, like I call it the what do you call it? It's sort of like the circuit. All these same guys go to all these conferences or whatever, and they're they over and over and over again, and a lot of them were just basically flesh and blood ape theory guys. Even some of them are starting to come and they're trying to find something in the middle. They're trying to acknowledge some of the so-called woo and stuff, but that's not the answer. I think you just have to be open to everything, but at least there's taking some baby steps in that direction. So that's positive.
I have quite a few people from the Pork and Beans show, the Sasquatch people, who are actually in doing the language lessons of the heart, emotional healing and recovery, and they're doing pretty good. It's nice to see that crossover is happening, because the Sasquatch were right on. The reason why they came to see me was because they were in alignment with, like, anything that can make human beings a little better. They like that. You help animals, you help people. They know you're a good person. So I like it when people from this. From the Sasquatch community decide to do some healing, because everybody, 66% of the people really need to do some form of inner child work. 66% is a lot.
Well, like my friend, like our friend of the show, Arla Calais Wallace, told me when I first started my journey. She said that you, and this is really true. And this is really true when you have a true connection with the Sasquatch, you realize, or other entities, you realize that this is very much true, is that people go looking for Sasquatch and whatever, but what they really find the journey is finding themselves. The Sasquatch want to introduce us to who we are, our true nature, and that's the whole thing.
Yeah, there's a quote, I forget if it was in the Bible or not, or I forget where it was, but it says, when one first perceives God as a monster until they are made whole enough to perceive him, right? When you first see these beings, and we call them monsters, but until when you become whole enough, you can see them for who they really are, which is really good people, really spiritual people, and really heart-centered people.
Yeah.
But
by the way,
if you're not whole inside yourself, then you're going to see them as monsters and be afraid of them.
By the way, I just got a message from Chris. He said, "You guys are loco." No, he didn't say that. He said, "Thanks again. We will go longer next time."
Yeah. Yeah.
So we'll have him on again.
You're lucky to have him that long. An hour was pretty good because he's pretty much in demand. He runs like 2 or 3 shows. You know what I mean? It's not just his that one show. He's got other stuff that he manages.
He does shows every day, I think. Like we do a pork and bean show maybe twice a week at the most. On a good week or whatever. But we usually generally only have one show a week. So I can imagine the time, the effort, and the recruiting that you have to do for a show every day. So let's see who we have coming up here. And then I gotta head out because I'm gonna go see the eagles. There's the biggest migration of eagles in the world is just right close to where I am, and they're all like hundreds and hundreds of them in a tree.
I like eagles.
Yeah. So I'll go
Bald
out there.
eagles, When
Yeah, bald eagles.
I used to live in Miami, Florida, there's a lot of eagles there because of the Everglades and a lot of fish and stuff. So yeah, but there's not.
Anyway,
have to have a lot of fish for them to have eagles.
yeah. So on Monday, this coming Monday, January 9th at 5 p.m., we have Cindy Ann Buono Goodbreak and Angelique Benham. And I think they're called Sasquatch Sisters Northwest, I think.
That sounds wonderful. I
Yeah.
love the ladies.
Yeah.
They just
My wife is listening. My wife is listening. I can't say that.
You can't say that you love the lady. Well, you love the ladies,
I can't say that. I'll tell you privately later. I'm just joking. She's giving me the evil eye. Of course, I'm just teasing. And then on Thursday, January 19th, and we might get a show somewhere in between that too, because that's 10 days. But anyway, for now, on January 19th, we've got Gail Fowler coming back on for part 2.
Oh, good.
And she does channeling and stuff. So
I like that we can keep this channeling thing going because I think that's real important. It's that just adds another dimension. It's a little bit woo, and but then it makes people feel connected to the Sasquatch people. And I'd love to hear from the clan of Irie again.
yeah, I should try to talk Barbara into coming back too and do an RE part 2.
Well,
I'll see
the way that the RE show turned out was exactly the way I thought it was. They were just going to be short, from the heart. They're not going to get into a whole bunch of gab, and and that's what it was. It was just short, powerful, from the heart, and yeah.
Oh, it was part. Well, how do you think I felt? That's my own guys.
How did you feel?
What was it? It was incredible. I thought it was just so personal and not only it's personal to me, but it was big picture kind of stuff too. So it was amazing. Like when RE said we're not from your time. That was pretty profound, and you could ponder that one. And he was talking about he represented the ancient ones. That was pretty powerful. And then there was, right down to little Bud who was saying, hello, friend. And he just wanted to be with his buddy, It was a full spectrum of stuff going on there. And then Raj Say was pretty profound too. I'm trying to think of what she said. She sent us all like a love kind of greeting and whatever, and it was just heavy duty stuff.
Was she the one who did the cornucopia of sort of thing?
Explain that a little better. I don't know what you mean.
One of the female ones was just giving love, and for Barbara, she said it looked like a cornucopia. And a cornucopia is like this basket with all the fruits coming out of it. You ever seen
right.
That?
Yeah, that was her. Yeah. Well, anyway, thanks everybody for tuning in today. I've got some food that Sue's made for me that I'm anxious to go eat, and also, like I said, I'm going to go and see those bald eagles.
Believe in yourself, even if no one else will. You got the universe inside you.
And I just wanted to say, with all that troubles that we're going, just to wrap up with all the negative comments that were on the show or whatever, I would just like to encourage anybody, just speak your truth and don't be afraid to speak your truth. You know,
A
if
little
you're
bit of chaos
representing,
is good. Chaos is the fertilizer that makes people grow.
yeah, but so many people like they shrink under the criticism, and they just want to quit, and they can't. They want to retreat, but just stay with it, because if you're being contacted by these people, it's important that they want you to talk about them and talk about them in a true light. And don't worry
Listen,
about.
I've been moderator and admin on woo type groups since 2016 or 2015, right? And I don't put there's no reason for any of that stuff. I've kicked out dozens and dozens of people on several different groups. It's not a big
Yeah,
deal
but
to just kick people out.
Yeah, I'm not talking about
that's when they learn. They learn, you know.
I'm not talking. Well, yeah, I wasn't talking from that perspective, though. Although, yeah, of course. But I'm just talking. Don't let it bother you personally. Don't let these people discourage you from talking.
No, we're here. We're here to protect you guys. If you have any kind of issues, just get in touch with us, and we'll do something about it right away. We are manly men.
Manly men in a can. Manly men. What's the plan? Manly men. Hey, damn, we are manly men.
That's right.
Candy, candy, candy.
We're not dandies.
No. Well, we might get criticized in some circles if we say we're not dandies. We're supposed to accept everybody.
Dandy man. You're a dandy man.
All right.
And thanks everybody for showing up. I thought it was a good show.
Yeah, we'll see you on Monday, 5 p.m.
Peace out.
My time.
All right. 5 p.m. your time.
I think it's 5 p.m. Let me just check again. Yeah, so it'll be 8 p.m. your time, Eastern time. 8 p.m. Eastern time, 5 p.m. Pacific time.
Bye, everybody. I love my pork and beans friends. You guys are the greatest.
Yeah. Thanks, everybody.
Happy trails to you until we meet again. Happy trails to you. Keep smiling until then.
Who cares about the clouds if we're together?
Just sing a song and bring the sunny weather.
Happy trails to you till we meet again.
Some trails are happy ones.
Others are blue.
Sky look down on all the people looking up at the big sky. Everybody's pushing one another around. The big sky feels sad when you see the children scream and cry. But the big sky too big to let it get him down. Big sky too big to cry. Big sky too high to see. People like you and me. One day we'll be free. We won't care, just you see. Till that day can be, no matter. think they got problems. They get depressed and they hold their heads in their hands and they cry. People lift up their hands and they look up to the big sky. But the big sky is too big to sympathize. Big sky's too occupied.